I'm your host, T. Mitchell Bell, and we have here in the studio Jenny Morgan. How you doing, Jenny?
Great, how are you?
Good, good. And you have, in case you just joined us, you missed that introduction. This is Acoustic Songs Live, and we're at 91.7 FM, streaming at WNJR.org. And Jenny's got some songs she's going to play for us today. What do you want to do for us, Jenny?
I'll play Shadow. It's off the album that you have over there in your hands.
This is Jenny Morgan on Acoustic Songs Live.
Shadow, I've bounced out of my shadow. Now I'm standing in the light, in the middle of my fright. Take me back into my shadow. Treetops, keep me safe within your branches. Don't want to stand here on the ground where my fears seem to be found. Keep me in your shadowed branches. Oh, winter, keep your gray clouds spread across the sky. Clouded mornings seem to help me cry. Tearful eyes that never seem to dry. Oh, winter, could you stop this world from turning round? When it turns, I fall onto the ground. Then I bounce out of my shadow. Shadow, did I leave my lonely shadow to fall out dancing in the light? Now I'm out here in plain sight. Whoa, shadow, I'm crawling back into your gray, away from all the color of the day. How I wish I could forever stay buried deep within my shadow.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, when I listened to your music and you had sent me the link, the one thing that stood out is that it was very honest, pure, authentic is what I, got from it, just real. It was just really.
Thank you.
Yeah, the songwriting, I just, that's hard to find, nowadays.
Well, it's very much a kind of it's kind of how I get through life. I have a lot of very deep and personal songs, and sometimes it's embarrassing to sing because, it's just like pouring my heart out there. I didn't really decide to be a writer or a singer. I just kind of did it to deal with everything,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, speaking of that, you grew up. You're a transplant, a Pittsburgh transplant here from Austin, Texas.
I am.
Yeah, and we were talking about that before the show, that it's usually the opposite way around, that people go to Austin. There's the Kerrville Folk Festival, the South by Southwest. There's all these things that go on down there. It's like a songwriting mecca.
Right.
Yeah. So,
the live music capital of the world.
Yeah. So growing up there, were you exposed to a lot of that? What was it like?
I mean, yeah, but you really don't see a lot of that, like as a kid, like going to school and doing the normal like little kid things. I remember watching Austin City Limits on the Access channel when it was just like this like little show that wasn't, I guess, the big deal it is now. And I know, I don't know, once I got to the age where I decided to start writing and kind of seeking that out, it was a cool place to be. And it's just home to me. I don't really always think of it in the way that other people think of it.
I got you. And I've heard that, Nashville was kind of the same way. Like growing up in Nashville, somebody had said that, once, like dating in high school, if you find out that somebody's dad is a musician, it's like, oh, you don't want to go out with them because everybody's dad or mom or somebody is involved in the music business in some way. Because
yeah, that's true. I actually remember Jerry Jeff Walker coming to my high school his daughter was in my class at Austin High and coming to perform. And yeah, there is a lot of that where you're just kind of like, oh yeah, well, that's a lot of film, a lot of music.
I have heard, stories about just being able to go to all the clubs up and down. What's the main drag?
6th Street.
6th Street.
Yeah.
And Stevie Ray Vaughan, I guess, Antone's is where, is it Antone's?
Yeah.
He broke out
Antone's is still there. There's a lot on 6th Street that, I don't know, it's almost like a Bourbon Street now where it's just stuff comes and goes, doesn't last very long. A lot of the clubs that I really liked had to relocate because they couldn't afford the rent anymore. Like the Black Cat was a really cool club back when I was, a kid. But yeah, there are definitely cool venues all over Austin and into the Hill Country. I lived in Wimberley for a little while, and there's a lot of great music there. A lot of musicians live there. So there is a lot to do, a lot to reach out to, and it's not all concentrated right on 6th Street anymore. So,
cool.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about that. The Hill Country is supposed to be really
it's
beautiful.
So beautiful. It is, yeah.
Yeah, move out there. I think of like Lyle Lovett, Sean Colvin, Willie Nelson, and all those folks. And then there were those folks that were under the radar, kind of like you just said, Jerry Jeff Walker.
Right.
It's like, a lot of mainstream.
Local fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But songwriters kind of know, about.
They write great music like the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, of course, did Mr. Bojangles, and that's a fantastic, amazing song, and everybody knows it, even if they don't realize they know Jerry Jeff Walker.
It was Guy Clark from, I don't know if he was from there, but I know he lived in Nashville. I'm trying to think of some other folks that came out of Austin, but maybe they didn't live there. They just wound up there to go.
Right. A lot of people wind up there.
Yeah. Just like in Nashville, people wind up there for one way or another,
Yeah.
So what brought you here to Pittsburgh? I mean, did you just pick a, cloudy, rainy place on the map?
It was really nothing excited, just job related, for my husband. And I decided, I guess I'll go along. And I kind of, I work part-time with doing ESL tutoring, and now I'm a ski instructor. So at Seven Springs, which is exciting. So, but I try to kind of focus on music for now.
That's awesome. So you probably don't do a lot of skiing down in Austin, so.
No, everybody laughs. You're a ski instructor from Texas. But, in Texas, we kind of flock to Colorado to ski, and I skied a bit in Sun Valley, Idaho, so I did grow up skiing in a way. Just not, I didn't have the everyday access everybody here has.
Yeah. Well, Seven Springs is, and there's some decent ski places around, but I wasn't much of a skier when I was growing up. Everybody went up there.
Yeah.
I have a funny skiing story I'll tell you offline, but I went one time and that was the last time. I looked like a windmill going down the hill. It was not fun.
Things can go south very quickly.
Yeah, especially you have to learn how to stop correctly.
That's pretty essential.
Yeah, and don't go straight. You have to make sure you go, you wind your way down the hill. No, not me. Anyway, so would you like to play another tune for us?
I would love to play another tune.
Cool. What are you going to do for us?
This song is called Bridges and Rivers, and it's pretty new. It's on the album I'm recording at present, but it is my first song where I kind of make a nod at Pittsburgh. So
cool.
stone, the water fell back in my head and my heart. Now it's raining all around my soul, and I don't think that I can let this go. A song was born today. I found more bridges and rivers. This river is muddy, and a baby boy was born today, with his cries ringing out while we're scraping the barrel. But my song was playing on the air today, 'cause I won't let this go. There's something burning deep within my soul. Another song was born today. I found more bridges and rivers. The spring was on fire, and another baby boy was born today. I'm fading fast, there's a light in the tunnel, but I turn around, I'm running back their way. 'Cause I'm not set to go, still something burning deep within my soul. It carries over the water. Well, I told you that I'm not set to go, still something marching deep within my soul. Another song was born today. Well, here I found more bridges and rivers. This river is deep and blue, still on the water and mountains surround me. Rivers and bridges, I'm running again, throwing songs on the water, they echo around me. I will not let this go, just something marching deep within my soul. That's how this song was born today. Bridges and rivers and bridges and rivers abound, just like this year and last year and next year the waters roll down.
Cool. That's definitely a Pittsburgh song. Bridges and rivers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it take a while to get used to all that? All
of the
bridges
well, I got lost quite a bit when I first moved here, and it would always be like, oh, this is the wrong bridge, this is the wrong tunnel, you know, that kind of thing. But I think I know my way around pretty well now. And yeah, it's actually kind of a comparison of Austin and Pittsburgh, because Austin is a city with a river running through. I mean, of course, lots of cities have that, and we have like the different bridges like that go on there's like a big hike and bike trail around the lake. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's I started out with this little bitty set of bridges in this tiny river, and now I'm around all of these huge bridges and mighty rivers, and you know, it's just kind of cool.
Now, did you get a GPS?
I have one on my phone. I have an iPhone. I was never a techie kind of person, but I cannot live without my iPhone now. Yeah. I'm the person driving that you're behind that you hate and you're shouting at because I'm driving and using my little map. Yeah. That's
Okay.
me. Sorry.
No, I just because of the way it's laid out, it's just like a big fan triangle kind of thing downtown, and then tunnels, and everybody tends to stay in the same neighborhood.
I've caught on to that.
Yeah,
There's a lot of, what are you doing all the way over here?
Like, oh, I have to go through 2 tunnels to get there. Nah, just never mind. It happens a lot, especially if you have to go through the Squirrel Hill and a 4-pit tunnel to get somewhere. You're like, I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
And you have to go through Pittsburgh at a certain time, and you're like, oh no, that's horrible, rush
Not
hour.
that.
Yeah. But I saw a special on, you mentioned the river in Austin, and there was the springs, like the place where everybody would swim.
Barton
right?
Springs, yeah.
Barton Springs.
Yeah.
That a documentary on that.
Oh, okay.
And how it became polluted back in from the run, maybe agricultural runoff or something to that effect. But it used to be like really, really clear. Like
Yeah.
Really, I think it's cleaned up now, but
yeah, I remember the Save Our Springs coalition when I was growing up, and then there was a big there was some kind of salamander that was getting, like, people were claiming it was injured because people were swimming there. So then I think they closed it for a little while, and there was this huge ruckus. And but I mean, when I've been back, it's open and running and very, very cold.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's freezing cold.
Well, if it's 120, I mean, you're probably gonna.
You're still cold, even when you get in the water. I mean, you kind of acclimate, but it's that kind of cold where you know that, like, I swam laps there sometimes, and it's like you can hardly breathe. It's just so cold.
I did my basic training in San Antonio in the Air Force.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a great city.
I didn't see too much of it. I was, not allowed.
Training.
We only had a couple days that we were able to go places, and everybody went to either the Alamo, and we went to the zoo.
Yeah, they have a good zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but it was really hot.
It is very hot.
I just remember it being like 120 degrees and like baking. They shut everything down. We didn't have to march. We couldn't go outside. We were like, okay.
Yeah, it's still that hot. I mean, I didn't really, like, I've somewhat acclimated to the weather here, and now when I go home, it feels hotter than I remember being. It is pretty much the same heat.
Yeah.
It's harder to tolerate now that I know that it's not like that everywhere else in the world.
And the drought hit it pretty.
Yeah, we had a lot of bad fires.
Couple years ago. Was it last summer?
We have a drought like every summer. Yeah.
Yeah, I have relatives that live down there that I was checking in on, and plus a friend that's going to law school down there, and it's like, how close is it to the city? Like
yeah,
friend. Ask Andrea. Do you ever hear the Ask Andrea show?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll just check it out.
Yeah. She's she does this like this woman's handy woman show. Like,
oh, cool.
Shows, and she raises chickens and all that kind of stuff, and it's back to kind of the earth kind of person and down in that area. But she has a radio show down there. I don't know if it's on public access TV or what it's on, but she's syndicated. Yeah, I just wondered. So you moving up here to Pittsburgh, you got in, I guess, started seeking out the songwriting community, and so how did you go about that? Just I know every time I move to a new city, I pick up something like the Pittsburgh Mag or whatever city paper, and then start looking around like, okay, what's going on?
Right.
So open mics was...
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe I looked online first to kind of see who the bands were. I use Reverb Nation as my webpage, so that's kind of a handy way to see who's playing around. And eventually I made it to Club Cafe, and once I played there, I met a lot of people and found where the other places to go. I go to the Hambones open stage quite a bit. And there's a great like blues open stage in Blawnox that I've been to. Who actually, that's a fellow Austinite. His name is Whammo, and he's up here with his wife, for job related stuff. But he runs a jam there, and I think they do like an instrument exchange as well. So just kind of started meeting people, and it all runs together, and you find yourself out all the time playing, and really friendly people here.
That I didn't realize how friendly people were until I moved somewhere else, and they're not as friendly as they used to be. So it was even friendlier, you know,
Yeah.
like you would actually, you know, oh, come on back to the house, and you know, you got to have some of my haluska, or you know, we'll try my grandmother's homemade pierogies, you know,
Yeah, wow.
oh, we're having hot sausage sandwiches, come on over, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that type of stuff is the way everybody growing up. And you know, now you get in traffic and you have people, you know, flipping you off and that kind of thing. And that just never happened before. It was one of those friendly kind of merged. Everybody waited their turn. And,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't
Progress that's taking us in the other direction as well, I guess.
I don't know.
Everyone's busy and
yeah, I just think it's probably
up
just
and-
more stress, more, you know, everything that is the way life is now. But
well, not being, I mean, I'm sure like back in the day, living in your neighborhood, maybe you worked in your neighborhood, and I know everybody had a church in their neighborhood. It's like you probably walked most
Yeah.
of where you went, which I think is very therapeutic, and you know, it just gives you a different pace. It's one of the things that I'm not real crazy about in the United States is just like
driving everywhere
and rushing everywhere, and yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And when I lived in Pittsburgh, I sold my truck. I needed. Actually, I was going to have to pay to park it, and I said, you know what? I don't need it that much.
Right.
And I rode the bus everywhere because I lived on the south side. And
Yeah.
I just would step outside my door, and
You could even walk around most of it. I mean, depending on where you need to be.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I walked right down to the Giant Eagle, got my stuff, and
Yeah.
just you know. But if I worked at Pitt, so I just get up on a bus and go over and go to work, and really you stay on the 54C, you can get anywhere.
Yeah.
And it just goes in this big loop around the city, you know, and it'll take you over to Bloomfield. It'll take you up on Polish Hill. You know, it's just like one of those things you could go like, oh, I think I'll go over to here tonight, you know, and then
Yeah.
you can get home.
Yeah.
I would get out of the south side usually on the weekends because of just all the drunk frat guys that was showing
Yeah,
up.
South Side gets kind of crazy.
It was, you know, back when I was there, I was just, well, no. But it was cool. We could walk. At the time, Diesel was Nick's Fat City, and you could walk down the street and hear bands all the time, and you know, go Club Cafe, the Rex, and then head home. So
Yeah.
I used to love it, you know. But then kids come and you go, oh no, you know, this is not good. We have to get out of town. Yeah. So I saw it when I was watching the show on Saturday Light Brigade. Your son was playing, right? Did he play a song?
He
or
actually
something?
just sang with me, but he
He
does
sang?
play guitar. He gets a little shyer about performing playing guitar because, you know, he's 10 and he's only been playing a little over a year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, he sings, and sometimes he will come and play like at open stages with me.
Oh, that's
so I
awesome.
take my kids into this. We don't live technically in the city, but we're in the city all the time. I love the city, and I love taking them around to do everything I do. So
That's cool, and I think that like I went to New York and I went to I think it was a songwriting thing at the bitter end, and there was this kid there, you know,
Yeah.
maybe 11, and I didn't know who the parent was, but she was just sitting there watching and you
Yeah.
know, like hanging out, and I guess kids in New York, that's what they have to do. I guess. You know?
I think it's all what you learn growing up. I mean, both of my kids traveled a lot from the time they were a baby, and I have played on and off. You know, I started playing before I had my first one. So I remember him being at a show in the little baby car seat carrier with my husband. I mean, they're around it and they don't really know that it's weird or different or.
And that's
So-
what I you know, if you take your kids on tour with you, and a lot of people do,
Yeah.
and I don't think there's anything,
You have to work things a little different. It's more challenging, but
but still,
yeah. I mean, I want them to play music and I want it to be part of their life. So I didn't really grow up with that exposure. So I think it's good for them.
it definitely can be done. I think that there's a lot of good, and I mean there is a lot of bad things about being on the road, you know.
Yeah.
And there are, you know, some, I would say, health consequences of maybe being a musician, or just you know, some of the stuff that you have to deal with. It's a little shaky or shady, but most of the time, when you're traveling, you're just like you're on vacation anyway, you know. It's just a lot of time spent in the car or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, which they get bored at, and that yeah. Good luck convincing my other to do anything like that. She wouldn't want it. So you want to play another tune?
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. What do you got? In case you just joined us, you're listening to Acoustic Songs Live, and we have Jenny Morgan here on the show today. And Jenny hails from Austin, Texas. She's relocated here to Pittsburgh. And what song are you going to play for us?
This is called Sayulita. And Sayulita is a little kind of fishing, surfing village in Mexico. And I spent a little bit of time there after I'd been really sick. And I was able to go surf again. I hadn't been able to surf in a while. And when I was surfing, I just kind of, you know, had that sense of feeling alive and appreciating everything about being in the water and moving with it. And so I wrote this. Sayulita, Sayulita, I'm walking out upon the sand with gold in my hand today. Sayulita, Sayulita, I'm paddling out beyond the reef. Oh, I have to shed my grief today. Hey, this life can be so short, and we don't know the course, so I push into a wave. Oh, I have to be brave today. Hey, Sayulita, Sayulita, I'm dropping in upon this wave, and I cannot cave today. Hey, the water hits so hard, but I'm not gonna let it fall apart. The ride is waiting there for me, and I know who I must be today. Hey, Sayulita, Sayulita, I'm paddling back into the sea, for I will be set free today.
Nice.
Thank you.
Are you recording that right now?
I am recording that, yeah.
I can hear you know, some really cool percussion, I guess.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of violin, some trumpet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So I just realized you are playing a regular.
I was wondering what was taking you so long.
No, I you know, when you said you know, you can check out the guitar later, you know, and then I realized she's playing this left-handed, but you are actually playing it. The strings are the opposite direction.
It's just a regular guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just flipped it around.
Yeah.
So you're doing the Jimi Hendrix style. I mean, that's...
Well, I wouldn't really compare myself to Jimi Hendrix, but...
That's how he played, though.
Yeah.
Right? I'm pretty sure that...
I think probably the closest comparison would be Elizabeth Cotten, and she was a hell of a guitar player, so I wouldn't even do that. But yeah, I mean, I believe she played just this way and sang. And
that must be difficult. Well, I mean, maybe it's not, because I had a lot... When I was trying to learn how to play, it was difficult for me. I could never do the thumb thing, though.
Yeah.
And you pretty much have to then.
Yeah. I mean, I don't...
Yeah.
I actually use this pointer finger, to do some of that. But I mean, you have to understand that when I learned to play guitar, I wasn't really around a lot of musicians growing up. It wasn't something in my family. And I taught myself to play piano and, wrote a couple songs. And then when I got a guitar, this is just the way that I picked it up. And it really wasn't... I didn't watch people playing guitar. I mean, I was playing guitar so I could write songs. Yeah. So it was just kind of...
So you just... It didn't...
You just look at tabs I look at them the way that I play, so... Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. It's just like a mirror image.
Yeah.
Really, that's I guess the way to think about it. I had difficulty reading music. I couldn't do it, like read it and play it, and taught myself that way too. So it was the people that can do that. Like my grandmother was an organ player, so she they have like 4 things going on.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They've got the feet going.
And she played by ear.
No.
She learned.
Yeah, she could play. Looking at sheet music and all that kind of stuff. But I tried and I got bored with it. I don't know. I didn't maybe have the attention span.
Well, you don't really need it until you're doing stuff that's really complicated. I mean, my mom put me in piano lessons when I was 9. And, I was just, why am I looking at this? I know what you're playing. I know what my fingers are supposed to do. It didn't make any sense to me. But then I am learning to read music now. My son is at City Music Center in Duquesne. So I've picked up like some of the basics. And I think when you're doing really complex music, you would have to be able to. And if you're playing with other people, it's just much more convenient to be able to translate.
I'm good in the key of C. When you start throwing in, all those sharps and flats and everything, and I have to remember that they are sharped and flatted, and then
kind of hurts the head.
It does. It hurt it too much. I was like, just write it, play it, see. I mean, like a Rolling Stone. I was sitting at the piano the other day. I was trying to show my son stuff on the piano, and it's just going right up the chords, like just triads. That's all it is, and it's the most popular song of all time.
Yeah, simplicity shouldn't be underestimated. But I mean, it is sometimes when you have a sound in your head and you just want to make it. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. When it's nice when you can, somebody will be like, oh, well, that's just this. And because they know theory and they know.
Yeah, that's a half diminished seventh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just okay.
Yeah.
As long as I have the sound now.
Yeah. And it's really to communicate with other musicians. That's pretty much why I learned it. And I dug in and did all that. And but when you're a singer-songwriter and really, you don't need to communicate.
I have mostly played alone. I mean, I'm really seeking out other musicians now to expand what I'm doing. But yeah, you kind of are in your own little world. And
so you brought in your last CD, the one you're working on now with, we'll give a plug, with Church Recording Studio.
Yeah, the Church Recording Studio.
And tell Dana now he owes me some free time. So no, I'm just kidding. And there's a song on here. Was it track number 3? Was it?
Yeah.
I believe it was.
A Prayer to Saint Anthony.
All right.
sitting down as the smoke carries off my soul. I waited here all night upon a cold church floor. Saint Anthony, please take my prayers all the way to find you there, where the sun will come to bring me home. Well, there's another yellow house where summer grasses crawl along the wall, and the wood is rough against our skin. Perhaps the stars fall out of line, or maybe we just never took the time. But we could try again. So your love has run, and she's left you just cold as stone, while mine lies here. But there is so much he will never know. So run back to that yellow house, kick down my door and push me to the wall, and you can have it all. I'll race you to that yellow house. We'll dig up bones we buried in the fall. Yeah, we could have had it all. Why do those stars fall out of line? How can it be we never took the time? Yeah, we could have had it all.
It was a prayer to Saint Anthony off of Jenny Morgan's CD, The Songs I've Sung. Very nice. And if people can find this, your EP, on your website?
On my website, actually it's for sale at Dave's Music Mine in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's also a shop in Dormont called Diversity.
Yeah.
It's on sale there as well.
Yeah,
So-
Buddy just opened that place.
Yeah, it's a great place. So if you're a musician, you ought to get your stuff over there. He's great.
Yeah.
He's very pro local music.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be overlooked.
Yeah, we'll talk offline about that. He was telling me about it. I didn't realize how close he was to fruition as far as like
Yeah,
launching it.
it's a great little shop.
I'm gonna have to go there. I was looking at it online yesterday, and it's some really cool stuff. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in coming to Pittsburgh, and you're recording a new record,
Right.
The church recording studio with Dana. And
Yeah.
how did that all come about? And what's tell us a little bit about that.
Well, there's a thing with Pittsburgh and churches being turned into other things, and so I kind of, I know there's the altar bar and then there's the church brew works, and somehow or another in talking to someone, they were like, yeah, well, there's a recording studio in an old church. And so I got online and I I looked it up, and I just went to see him, and I was just so in love with, you know, this church building, and Dana's demeanor is great. He just kind of seemed to like get what I was trying to do, and he's willing to work with me. And he's not the first studio I've recorded at in Pittsburgh, but I kind of, I've liked meeting other people in other studios and kind of getting a variety of what's out there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Get the vibe.
Right. So I guess I should say that I have a handful of songs that never really made it to an album. I recorded this album, the songs I've sung, in Texas. And then some things came up, and, you know, I was starting recording projects, and then I wasn't able to record for a while. So I have a handful of songs that I'll put on iTunes. But here, when I get, you know, like in the next month or so, I'll release them and then say something about it on Facebook. But I've also recorded with Doug Wilkin for the Pittsburgh Songwriters Circle.
Oh, yeah.
So I have 2 songs with him now that I'll also release on iTunes, but they're on this year's and last year's Pittsburgh Songwriters Circle album. So
oh, cool.
You should check those out as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I saw that CD just came out. Did it?
Yeah, we had the first release last weekend at the Pittsburgh Center for the Arts, and there will be one this evening as well.
Oh,
it's
okay.
a 2-disc CD. This one really got we have a lot of songwriters on it. So
you're playing tonight?
I played last week.
Last week?
Yeah.
But you're playing tomorrow.
There should be some. No,
yeah.
we each only like. Oh, I am playing tomorrow. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with you here. I am playing tomorrow at Club Cafe.
Okay.
I'm opening up for Lindsay Lou and the Flatbellies. It's bluegrass from Michigan. Really great music.
Awesome.
The early show. So I'll play from 7 to 7:30, and then I think she'll play till 9.
Oh, cool.
So.
Are you playing solo or?
I'm not playing solo. I have an accompanist, Mike Hickey, who plays guitar and does a little vocals with me, and then Lucy Tedesco, who
cool.
everybody knows.
Yeah.
She plays violin. She'll play with me as well.
That's kind of why I was asking when you said bluegrass.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I hope.
And Lucy's actually recording with me at the church.
Awesome.
So she'll be on most of my songs as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So the CD, you use Reverb Nation for your website, right?
It's free. Yeah.
Okay. So if anybody needs to find Jenny Morgan, go to Reverb Nation. And is it Reverb Nation /
It's reverbnation.com/Jenny Morgan.
Okay. So people can find you there.
Right. And Facebook, it's the same thing. I have an artist page, but it's Jenny Morgan Music.
That's right. Okay. I was looking around yesterday for different websites, you know, like, okay, where is she? And I'm Googling this. And there's also there's a Jenny Morgan photographer or artist in New York City or something. She popped up. I'm like, that doesn't say. I don't think that's right.
Well, and there's also a protest singer in Ohio named Jenny Morgan, and I think she's anti-fracking, so she stands outside of City Hall and sings these songs about, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
wow. Wow. Well, that's cool. I mean,
it's a really common name.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
I've met so many Jenny Morgans, Jennifer Morgans. It's just kind of strange, but.
Well, in case you just joined us, we have Jenny Morgan here in studio on Acoustic Songs Live, and I'm trying to next week who we have on the show. Jay Hitt is going to join us next week on the show, and the following week after that we have Rick Malice is going to be on the show. And then we're taking a break for the holidays, and we'll be back on January the 4th, and Jordan Umbach is going to be here. So, Jenny, you want to play another tune for us?
I would love to play another tune.
Okay, what are you going to do for us?
This is another new one that it's called Hojas y Humo, which means leaves and smoke in Spanish. So it's it's just the newest thing I've got.
Cool.
quedó en mi pelo, quedó en mi ropa y encendió tu aliento en mi corazón. Escribo estas palabras en tus hojas para fumarlas. Hoy no canto nada, no estás aquí, solo tus hojas y humo, fiebre en el aire. Hay un huracán en la costa hoy. Hay un huracán en mi corazón. Hojas y humo, fiebre en el aire. Hay un huracán en la costa hoy. Hay un huracán en mi corazón.
Well, I wish I would have paid more attention in my Spanish class in high school.
That's right. Everybody pay very close attention in Spanish.
We just had a really bad Spanish teacher who would fall asleep during class.
That's
and
pretty awful.
It was. I mean, put on one of those movies about something and literally fall asleep while we were watching a movie.
Yeah,
Half of us
that's
would
a
get up
shame.
and leave. You know?
But living here, you ought to head up to Canada and learn French, right?
Well, my wife was a French major, and I don't understand any of it, and she doesn't use it. But I thought it was like taking Spanish as something that I would actually use.
Right. Yeah.
You know, just because there's North and South America, and people speak Spanish pretty close.
Most places in the U.S., I mean, you find, I've had a harder time finding that here, but yeah, typically it's a very useful language. I actually remember being lost in France, and we were taking the train into Paris, and we just got off like at the wrong stop, and we were in this little town, and this lady in a shop, she didn't speak English, and I don't speak French, but she spoke Spanish. So we got directions, and we got where we were going, and
yeah. I need to just have one of those, I guess, tape thing or podcast deals where you learn.
Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
That's what I hear is the best. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But then again, Texas Spanish is different. Like
it is different.
Tex-Mex.
I mean, I think
like
growing up in Texas, you learn a lot of Spanish words, and then I studied it in school. I went and spent some time in Spain, and I had no idea what was going on there. Like the Spanish was so different. And then I actually lived in Mexico for about a year, and I lived I lived very far south in the Gulf, and then I lived in Guadalajara for about a month, and even there it's very different. But I think that you don't really learn a language until you're in a place and you're forced to speak it. I lived in places where nobody spoke English. And so it's a crash course is the best way to go with language, I think. It's good to read it and become familiar, but until you're in a place where you really have to use it, and your brain can be forced to think that way.
Yeah, I lived in North Miami Beach with my dad lived there, and right out of high school, I went down and I went to work for a Cuban guy.
Oh, cool.
But I didn't really learn it. I just wound up, in Little Havana a couple times and stuff like that.
I'm very jealous. I'd love to go check that out. I haven't been to Florida.
Oh man, it's pretty awesome. Like parts of it, like you go even Tampa. We lived in Tampa. It was great. But yeah, he called me Meech. Yeah, that was funny. I just thought that was funny. Meech. I thought that was hilarious. But I worked a vending route with him. That's what we did. Filled up vending machines. It was the owner. Every day at 6 or 7 a.m., I'd walk over and go fill vending machines, and it was very depressing, actually.
Really?
We went. We went to nursing homes, a lot of times, and it's like that was the depressing part. I always hated that. And then there were the textile mills, like going into these textile factories and stuff, and there's no air conditioning in there. And it's just like, steam going everywhere, and I was like, man.
But think of how much you were appreciated. I mean, think if those people went to the machine and there were no drinks in there.
Oh, yeah.
You were like their salvation.
Like, here he comes. Yeah, I never thought about it that way, actually. But it was pretty interesting. So you have a show coming up tomorrow night at Club Cafe.
I do.
And anything else you want to tell us before we finish up with one last song if you want to?
Sure, yeah. Just please check out my Reverb page. I try to be good about updating when I have shows coming up, and go like me on Facebook. I could use some likes, and then you can kind of keep current. I have a YouTube channel, and I have that posted on my Facebook.
And you play some piano on the YouTube channel.
I do, yeah. I do.
I really like the songs that you've written on piano, too. It's like, that.
Well, one of them is a Jackson Browne cover.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not me. That is an amazing song. But yeah, I do have some songs that I've written on piano as well. And I played a little piano on the CD I'm recording right now.
Cool.
On some of my songs. So.
And any idea when that's going to, when you have a plan yet for when that's going to come out? Or?
Well, I think I finished doing my part, so I've got some instrumentation that needs to be added, and then it needs to be mixed, and so I like another month or two, hopefully by the summer at the latest.
Summer
should be ready. Yeah.
We'll come back after it releases, and I will. And,
thank you.
Let everybody know. We'll plug it and let everybody know that your CD's out. So
yeah,
a couple of the songs you played are obviously off of the CD, but bring some of your accompaniments if you want to, and play too, because we have enough mics to go around.
Okay.
Anyway, Jenny, thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you
on
so
the
much
show.
for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Nice talking with you. And you want to take us out with the song?
Sure.
What's this called?
This is called Leave This Girl.
Is this on the new CD?
It is. I'm just giving away all my stuff, aren't I? With bones from all the secrets I've been keeping while you're gone from home. Shouldn't leave this girl alone. Hell, I'm drinking all alone. Hold my own from all my hauntings up and down these hallways while you're gone. Yeah, honey, I can hold my own. the same since you took a run, left me with scar tissue and the baby. You know we'll never be the same. Shouldn't leave this girl alone. No, 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 no. My closet's tumbling out with bones from all the secrets I've been keeping while you run from home. You shouldn't leave your girl alone.
That's some good advice. And this is WNJR in Washington, Pennsylvania.